I'm Bernina expert Amanda Murphy, and in this video I'll show you how to quilt the third diamond from our Diamonds Quilt Along. You can find PDF instructions on Bernina's blog, weallsew.com. Each of the diamonds features a different design within a similar framework, so there's a separate video that you can access on We All Sew that shows you how to quilt the framework. I did that with my every angle ruler. To quilt the blossom motif, mark the center of that central diamond and also mark the midpoint of all of its sides. Here's the design for diamond number 3. There's a central blossom motif and a swirl motif quilted in the channel surrounding the diamond. So let's begin. I started in the corner of the diamond and I quilted toward the center using my 6-inch every circle ruler. When I got to the center, I smoothed out the quilt and then I quilted to the next corner. Note that the edge of the ruler is a 1/4 inch away from the point that I'm trying to hit. Then I quilted back to the center. To quilt the next petal, I took the path of least resistance and quilted down to the next corner. And when I say least resistance, what I mean is I try not to make a hard corner and change directions in the center if I can. I try to go in a direction where the line will be pretty smooth, and that is to hide my mistakes. So now quilting to the last corner of the design, you'll note that I didn't quilt the other side of that first petal. I'll get that at the very end once I've quilted all the petals. Quilting back to center. Now it's time to quilt the petals that are angled on a diagonal. I used my 4-inch every circle ruler to do that. The distance isn't quite as great, so I wanted a tighter curve. So I quilted to one of the midpoints of one of the sides of the diamond. And then again, the path of least resistance. I quilted to the opposite midpoint. And then back to center. And you'll notice I'm taking the time to smooth out my quilt. It's completely okay to do that. I'm not feeling rushed. I have to get that last diagonal petal. And if you don't hit your points exactly, it's fine because you're going to wipe away these chalk marks when you're all done. And now I need to change back to my 6-inch ruler again to complete that design. If you'd like, you can fill in the background with a stipple or another small design. So I've gone ahead and switched to BSR1 or manual. I prefer to do stipples in either BSR1 or manual, and I've changed my stitch length to be shorter, maybe 12 or 13, even 14 stitches per inch, so my stipples won't look like they have corners. The stipple will make the design look more puffy, and that's what I want in this case. So I think it's worth the extra time just to stipple around all your petals. Next, I'll quilt the swirl motif in the channel. So I've gone ahead and switched to my number 73 foot, which gives me more visibility, and I'm also using my optional laser light, an accessory available for the Q series. It helps you see where the needle will penetrate the fabric. And I've gone ahead and brought my bobbin thread to the top by doing 1 stitch, and then I begin the swirl. I started with very small stitches to lock my threads, and then I move to a regular length stitch, maybe a 10 or an 11, would be good for something like this. It all depends on the scale of your design. So I start with that swirl, and then I do another swirl, and I echo around it. And then when I get almost over to the corner, I reverse directions. You can do your swirls all in one direction, or you can reverse directions with each swirl. And if you look at the PDF we made available to quilt the diamonds, you'll see the pattern. It's a little hard to see here with the orange thread on the orange fabric. But I echo around the swirl, and then I reverse directions as I start into another swirl. Now, at around this point, as I approach the corner, I start to think about fitting a swirl right in that corner. So that last swirl might be a little skinny or a little fat, but I try to fill the corner space. And then I echo around it, not quite so far that time because I'm going to change directions. So now I go into another swirl. And if you forget to reverse directions, it's not a big deal. People will not notice in the final quilt. What they'll see is a lovely swirling texture. They won't notice whether you change directions every time or not. I continue to quilt this motif all the way around the channel, and when I get toward the end, I look at the available space. So here I have a space that is a little bigger than most of my swirls, and so I'm going to make this final swirl just a little wider so it fits in nicely and nests into my design. And that's it. You've completed Diamond 3. Don't forget, you can mix and match both the channel and the central motifs to really make this quilt your own. Join us on We All Sew to learn how to quilt the other diamonds, and next month we'll feature some bonus projects you can make with the leftover fabric from this quilt top. Hope to see you there.